Welcome back to the Cossy Arsenal channel. My name is Cossy. Welcome back to a brand new video. Gyokerez's agent is in London to finalize his move to Arsenal. Final details are being ironed out between the agent of the player and Arsenal at the moment. And Arsenal are now moving on to the next one, which is Gyokerez. In this video, I want to dive into how many goals can Gyokerez realistically score in his first campaign at Arsenal. I've seen this debate online that is one of the players that are going to need a lot of time to catch up with the Premier League. So how many goals do I think, and do you think realistically Gyokerez can score in the Premier League in the first campaign? And also secondly, what are some of the key areas that Gyokerez is going to have to work on? Now, we know he's 27, we know he's in his prime, and we know that he's not perfect. He's not perfect. Just like Benjamin Sesko, just like any player, he's not perfect. He's going to have a couple of things to work on. And in this video, I'm going to address those areas. And I can tell you, Gyokerez is going to have as many problems as Benjamin Sesko. So if anyone is thinking we should have signed Benjamin Sesko, I don't think so. I think Gyokerez being a prolific goal scorer with a top mentality as a centre forward is enough for Arsenal to go to the next level. But the few things that we've got to talk about in his game that he's got to fix if he's going to be a top centre forward in Europe and also in the Premier League. Hit the like button for me, subscribe to the channel as well. Let's get into it. Let's start off with that big story from Fabrizio Romano. He has just confirmed that the agent of Gyokerez is in London, and he says that he understands that Gyokerez's agent, that is Hassan Sentikaya, has landed in London to seal the deal of the player with Arsenal. All set for Gyokerez to travel for medical as soon as possible. As soon as all the details are done, he will be flying to Arsenal, he will be flying to London, and then everything should be done. 63.5 million plus 10 million euros in add-ons has been agreed, commission reduced as it has to be fixed by today. And Fabrizio then says that talks underway in London between all parties involved in the Gyokerez deal to get final green light and to seal the move. That is Fabrizio. Again, he says that at the moment, Arsenal and Gyokerez camp are waiting on the final approval from Sporting on the bonus structure, and they have been discussing it in recent hours. The structure then, the striker then needs permission to travel to London, where his agents and Arsenal are waiting for him right about now. So that is Fabrizio Romano confirming that the agent of the player is in London. He's waiting for his man. He's waiting for his player, right, to arrive in London and do the deal and complete the deal. So this one is basically done. By the time we talk about medicals and everything, that means that the deal is agreed in principle and much of the work has been done. So what Arsenal are trying to iron out at the moment is that structure of payment that Sporting have to approve. Obviously, Arsenal said we are going to have a structure in terms of add-ons, and then they've prepared that and they've sent that to Sporting. Also, we have to clarify with Hassan Sentikaya. Now, this is the thing. Arsenal will pay some part of the commission of the agent, and Sporting will also pay some part of the commission. It is not going to be 10%. He has not removed everything. He has lowered. There's a difference between that. He has lowered his commission, and he's saying, Arsenal, you can give me some part of the commission, and then Sporting can give me some part of the commission. So once that is finalized, everything is ironed out. The medicals have been booked, the flight is booked, and the engines are running for Gyokerez to be in London. But then there is a very big question and discussion going on online about Victor Gyokerez, and the first discussion is fueled by rival fans, and they're comparing him to Darwin Nunes, right? Guys, I think the big question here is, how many goals is Victor Gyokerez capable of scoring in terms of non-penalty goals if he arrives at Arsenal? That is the big question. How many goals is he gonna score, non-penalty goals, right, in the Premier League? Because Arsenal do get penalties quite a lot. We've got players that can carry the ball into the penalty area, Saka, Trossard, Odegaard, and a couple of others. So I won't be surprised now with Gyokerez coming in, I won't be surprised for our penalty levels to go up a little bit. The reason as to why Arsenal don't get so many penalties at times is because you have players like Kai Havertz who are supposed to be in the penalty area. These are the players that are supposed to draw fouls. These are the players that are supposed to, win you penalties. They are always outside the penalty area. So with Gyokerez coming in, Arsenal will win more penalties. That is for sure. And we know he's a very deadly penalty taker. He's a very good penalty taker. So for me, realistically, this is what I want to say. Excluding penalties, because we can't know how many penalties Arsenal will get. I think Victor Gyokerez can score 17 to 18 goals in his first campaign at Arsenal. Non-penalty goals just in the Premier League. I think I'd score 18 to 17. I am not going to go as high as 20 or 25. But with penalties, it could be as high as 21, 22. But without penalties, I think he could score 17 to 18. Now, the people that are comparing him to Darwin Nunes are saying that Gyokerez is coming from Portugal and Darwin Nunes came from Portugal. They're both coming in at, quite a raised fee, 73 million and above. And these are two strikers that were lighting up the world while Darwin Nunes was at Benfica and, of course, Gyokerez at Sporting. And I understand the similarities. But I'll tell you something, right? The fact that you walk into a country like mine, Uganda, if you walk into Uganda and you eat matoke prepared in a restaurant and you also eat matoke prepared in a home, those meals are both made in Uganda, and that is matoke, but it's very different, right? I just think that, this is like food, honestly. This is like food. I don't think that Darwin Nunes struggled in the Premier League because he can't get chances and because he's overwhelmed by the Premier League. I think that there is a psychological element to this guy, and Liverpool trashing him and trying to sign another striker. I think Liverpool could actually transform Darwin Nunes if they did deep work with this guy. Because he's getting the chances, he's running through on goal, he's doing everything right apart from the finishing, right? Darwin Nunes is not like Daniel Welbeck. Because Welbeck has very poor running. It's not like Eddie Nketiah. These guys have very poor runs, right? But Darwin Nunes makes his own runs, and they're top runs. So you look at a striker like Erling Haaland coming from German. And again, in German, it's open games. In German, it's, you can make as many runs. He was this athletic striker that would, score goals on the counter, on the break, transitions, and everything. He comes into Manchester City, and all the time, Man City are facing a low block. What happened? He scored 36 bloody goals that campaign. So the first thing Arsenal have got to do is to allow Gyokerez take penalties. That is going to boost his confidence. I know Saka takes up penalties and he takes them very well, but with a number 9 on the pitch, if you want to boost his confidence, if you want to give him the due diligence that he actually deserves, give him the penalties. So I'm going to go with 16, 17, 18 goals in his first campaign. And these are my 2 reasons why he will score such a high volume in the Premier League. Number 1, let's talk about the quality of some of these teams that are overrated. Sunderland, Burnley, there's some of these teams that everyone says, Premier League teams, but in the Premier League, you have about 10 very good teams that will give you trouble, right? And I can mention them. Arsenal, number 1. Manchester City, Liverpool, Chelsea, Tottenham, Newcastle, Brighton, Brentford, and Aston Villa, right? Aston Villa, that is 9. I think I could, should I add Crystal Palace in there? Fulham. Let's go with Fulham because Fulham always give Arsenal a run for their money. Then you look at the other bottom teams, right, that are always struggling, they're fighting for their life. Everton, the Ipswiches of this world, the teams that are coming from Championship. Gyokerez can easily score 20 goals, right, by scoring 1 goal against the bottom 10 in every single game. And we have not counted hat-tricks, we have not counted braces, we have not counted that. So when people say, oh, the Premier League is a very, very tough league, or the Premier League is a difficult league, Haaland was here scoring 5 against, Luton? Was it Luton? Was it what? Right? So don't tell me the Premier League is a hard league. Tell me that there are some quality teams in the Premier League that will give Gyokerez a bit of a run for his money. That one I would understand. But for you to tell me the Premier League is a hard league, he won't survive. He will survive. Yes, he will survive the wrath of the Premier League. So I'm going to go with 18 goals because Arsenal create chances. Saka putting crosses into the box. Martinelli crosses into the box. Odegaard, those passes that invite you to make a run off the shoulder of a defender. Declan Rice, all those chances. This guy is not going to get 3 chances again, and he doesn't bury once. And I'm telling you, Arsenal will create more than 5 chances in a game. More than 5 chances. Not only for Gyokerez, but if Gyokerez gets 2 chances or 3, he's got the ability to bury 1. So if he buries 1 chance every single game, this is impossible. But that takes you to 38 goals. Now let's remove the hard games. Let's remove games where he has been bullied by the good defenses and everything. That could take you about 18 goals or 17 goals. And that is not bad. If you add 17 goals, right? If you add 17 goals to what Arsenal are right now, and you add 17 from Saka, and maybe the left winger that we're trying to sign adds 17, and the midfield raises their level in terms of creativity and goals, this Arsenal team is in a much better situation. Much, much better situation. But these are the things that Gyokerez has got to work on if he wants to achieve the numbers I'm talking about. Number 1, aerial Proacy. The Premier League is a physical league, and that is no joke. We are not trying to overhype our league. We are not trying to overhype the Premier League. The Premier League is a very, very physical league. And headers seem to be one of the instruments you either have or you struggle. Please, Victor Gyokerez, whoever is going to work with this guy, let him start scoring headers. Right? Should we bring in Andy Carroll as a coach? Should we bring in Olivier Giroud as a coach? I don't know. If you remember Olivier Giroud was kind of a shitty striker. But Giroud had that ability. And of course, the moments that of Giroud we remember, obviously, we've got that, overhead kick against Crystal Palace. What a goal, by the way. What a goal. But those clutch headers. He comes onto the pitch, 70 minutes in, boom, and it's in the back of the net. So I really think, and I really believe that Olivier Giroud and Andy Carroll had an advantage in the Premier League because they could score headers. So if Gyokerez can score 6 headers in a season, just 6 headers in a season, and 4 penalties, that is already 10 goals. 4 penalties and 6 headers, that is 10 goals. And then he can score with his right, he can score with his left. Let's say 3 goals with his left foot and 3 goals or 4 goals with his right foot. That is already 17 goals. So he's got to improve his aerial Proacy, especially in the Premier League where you have Van Dijk, Dan Burn, Steven Botman, Fabian Schär, Murillo. These guys that are like kind of, aggressive defenders in the air. Saliba, Gabriel. He won't be playing against them, but he will be going against them in training. You don't want to be bullied in the air in the Premier League. You don't want to be bullied, right? That is number 1. Number 2, the other thing he's got to work on is operating in tight spaces. Now, if you can get some time, I want you to go and watch a video by the Different Knock. Alex on the Different Knock has done a video, and the video's title is funny. He has said, Gyokerez to Arsenal, And basically what that title means is he's got questions. Not that it's a bad signing. We all know it's a very, very good signing. He's a good player. But he's got concerns about Victor Gyokerez. And one of the things that Gyokerez really thrives on is huge spaces. Now, in the Premier League, if you are Salah, you will get space because you can create it for yourself, right? And Gyokerez, to some extent, can create space for himself, just like Alexander Isak. But Arsenal as a team are always on the ball, and we're always trying to dominate, suffocate, kill teams, right? in their zone. If you look at Arsenal's field tilt, it's crazy. It's like Arsenal are always in the half of the opponent. And what that does, it creates an overload in the opposition's final third. About 10 Arsenal players in there, plus 11 of the opponent's numbers. That is 21. So you have 21 players packed in a square, in a rectangular space. The others are trying to defend against us, and we're trying to attack. That means that Gyokerez might not have a lot of spaces to run into in some games. He's got to find a way of scoring goals in tight spaces. Now, I don't want to lie to people. When we play Newcastle, there will be counterattacks. When we play Fulham, there will be counterattacks. Even when you play Man City, there is counterattacks. And Gyokerez thrives under counterattacks. But learn how to work in tight spaces, because that is a requirement, a prerequisite for you to play under Mikel Arteta. And then finally, he's got to work on his first touch. He's got to work on his first touch. Like, he receives the ball well, but he takes too many touches, right, before making his next action. Now, obviously, he has a lot of time in Portugal. The defenders are not that aggressive and that quality. But against Virgil van Dijk, against William Saliba, against Gabriel, the moment you take your first touch and it is poor, the moment your first touch is poor, the ball is gone. Right? Now, the advantage he's got is that he's got the likes of Odegaard, Kai Havertz. They can make him very, very beautiful passes, and then he just runs onto it. But even then, your first touch is important. If you're running onto the ball, do you hit it directly, or do you take many touches? So at the moment, he's taking many touches before shooting and scoring. That is not going to be successful in the Premier League, because you don't have a lot of time to actually do that. And now Arsenal are working on the Eberechi as a deal after Gyokerez and Mosquera. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. See you soon. Ciao.